Hello everybody, and we are JoJo Overdrive, and today we'll be looking at Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak Chapter 11, I believe we are on. Yes we are. We've reached the end of this main little encounter we had with Pet Sounds user, which I don't think has actually ever gotten a name still. So I'll just refer to them as Pet Sounds user, and I think it was a pretty fun chapter, but I need to see more of the cool Dio lore. That's what I'm most interested in for the.
Yeah, I want to see how ludicrous it's gonna get with the author trying to insert Stardust Crusader stuff into this.
Yes.
I want to see. We're gonna have a resurrected Kakyoin soon. We're gonna find out that Avdol actually survived on the other end of the portal from the light.
We're gonna get an armless Avdol walking through a portal and being like, "Hello, yes, I am."
A guy in a long cloak in Morioh, and he's
exactly.
I knew your father.
I think it is pretty interesting and pretty funny how for a series called with Crazy Diamond in the title, it's really a part 3 homage.
Yeah, I don't really understand why they decided to make it linked to Josuke.
Josuke does not need to be here.
The more he learns about Dio, it makes it kind of ludicrous that he's the whole stuff in the beginning of part 4. I guess off screen he could have talked about Jotaro about it, but it's
because I remember there's a part in part 4 or whatever where I believe it's Angelo in the Aqua Necklace fight or whatever. The first time in the fight, he mentions Dio or whatever because he's been trapped in the rock or whatever, and Jotaro's like, "What, Dio?" And Josuke's like, "Who's Dio?" But now that doesn't really make sense because
to be fair, what if at the end of this, maybe when Pet Sounds gets defeated, the memories of
the fights disappear.
Yeah, because Pet Sound stores the fights or whatever.
Stores his memories.
So maybe people they could totally do something and then Josuke forgot about it.
Yeah, but that feels just character negation at that point. That feels why did we do this?
I guess the whole point of it would be Whole Horse and
That's
Boingo.
True. If Whole Horse dies in this, I won't forgive him ever. And it's not an impossibility either. Speaking of which, I don't think we've seen Whole Horse in the recent chapters for a hot second.
Yeah, he hasn't been in it in a little bit.
It's been a while. The chapters being monthly I haven't gotten a good chance to go back and just read through all of them.
This does not feel like a monthly series.
It feels
because it's
way
the length.
Longer.
It's slightly longer than weekly chapters, but he's taken 4 hiatuses so far, which is fine, but it just does not feel like a monthly series. JoJolion felt like a monthly because it's 40 chapter or 40 pages. I mean,
yeah, this one was 30-ish pages, but
yeah.
This was a long chapter also, for this series.
We're also going to be having 2 JoJo series concurrently, which will be crazy.
That'll be nice. And
on
unless
the same
somehow
day.
It doesn't make sense for this series there's not enough chapters within the next couple months to make a full volume. So there has to be at least some overlap, and honestly, I don't see this ending within the next volume. I think it's going to go to 4
wrap
volumes.
Up in another volume. Yeah, one more after.
We have
this.
2 out, and then this one, and then I think 1 more. It's just kind of I'm. The more we get in, the longer we stay in this fight against Pet Sounds, the more it feel. I'm not sure what the Pet Sounds user is supposed to be the main antagonist, which it kind of seems like.
He's got to be. Yeah.
I don't see what else it would be, and. I think the whole idea behind Pet Sounds is the memories and everything, and it's so they can bring back a bunch of part 3 stuff. That's the whole point of the stand ability. It's just so it's the reference, which I really appreciate, but I feel there needs to be something else at this point because that's all we've been getting over these past
Pet Sound. We meet the third bird.
The third bird. I can't.
Pet something.
I don't know another reference. I know what Pet Sounds in there. I know Pet Shop Boys, but I literally could not think of another one. Something in this chapter that we got revealed, which I thought was I don't know what to think of this, but I think it's an interesting concept. Is that the user of the bird gave the bird like a bit of his flesh, and so therefore he now controls the stand or something. It's a bit like weird. Where does he say it? Let me look at it. By giving the parrot a piece of my own body, I was able to link our souls together, and now we share the same stand. And it like shows a shot of his like earlobe like missing or something. So do you think that's just like do you think this is ever gonna like become an important thing in the future?
Gave his earlobe up because that's where the moles were on Dio.
Oh my god!
It all
that's
connects.
so true. So in the JoJo universe, is this confirming that if you give an animal a piece of your flesh, you can just use their stand? Or it's probably just like a roundabout way of saying like I'm
what?
so in.
What way?
Oh my god. I can't think of another way to say it. It's a roundabout way. I'm sorry. A roundabout way of just saying like, oh, I'm so in tune with my own pet that I can command it to do whatever I want. So I essentially am using the stand as if it were my own, because they're like linked or something. That could also be a possibility. What else did we see in this chapter? The part where Josuke is just like burning alive, and he's just like, actually, I've decided I'm not gonna burn to death. It reminds me a lot of Jolene.
And he like choked him with the noose too.
Yeah, he made himself pass out, and so because he couldn't sense anything because he was passed out, the like illusion broke or whatever.
Yeah,
which I thought
it was basically
pretty
like Sky High. Yeah,
it was like a very Sky High moment where it's like, oh, I guess I'll just if I'm not even gonna like pay attention to your attacks, I'm just gonna let it happen, and then it worked. Boingo has this has been like a recurring thing for all of the returning part 3 enemies. Like we have Boingo, and then we have Whole Horse, and I think Morioh was at the beginning, right? Am I going crazy? Morioh was in chapter 1 and never again. But Boingo has this moment where he's like, I can't believe even after Dio's dead, I'm still like under his influence or whatever. And that's also like same thing that Whole Horse thought previously in this story. So I think it's a very there's a clear like focus on the part 3 minor antagonists, like actually giving them more depth than what we got in actual part 3, which I think is a lot of fun, because in part 3 Boingo is just the funny gag character who goes that's like the sound he makes when he laughs whenever he's like, and that's the joke, and it's a pretty one-off thing, but they're actually like kind of diving into how Dio like affected his underlings, which
do you think we're gonna see his older brother in it?
It's okay. It's so weird. Even in part 3, I can understand Oingo not showing up because Oingo had just gotten exploded by his own bomb. So I understood like, oh, he didn't show up that fast because he was still retired, as they say. But I don't know where he'd be at this point. I don't know why he wouldn't be with Boingo. That's kind of something I just don't understand. It's like, I feel like at this point, why wouldn't he have stuck with his brother or something? It's kind of odd that I don't even think he's mentioned Oingo once in this story. I could have completely missed that, but I don't think he ever does. But
yeah, he has not.
But again, this isn't done yet, so he could still come in later. I would like that, because it's been we've gone for so long without the Oingo Boingo brothers. It's just been Boingo and other people. I was thinking of something else. We got not Pet Sounds, but we got Pet Shop back in this chapter. He was also like teased at like I think he was like the ending tease of the last chapter, and then he was like fully shown in this one. And in the anime, they change it so that Dio shows off his parrot in the manga, and like very early on when he's talking to, I believe, Kakyoin or Abdul, I think it's Kakyoin, he shows off his parrot. But in the anime they changed it to Pet Shop because that just made the most sense at the time. But now that we know the parrot was Pet Sounds, do you think if this was like if this was released back before the anime, do you think they would have changed that moment still to make it Pet Shop because it's a spinoff?
No, they wouldn't have changed it. They would have kept it because I think this is canon. Obviously,
yeah, but what I'm saying is that Pet Sounds doesn't even like show up in part
in the actual parts, but like they did the Rohan chapters, so like I could totally see them after like eventually part 8 or something. They just go, hey, we want to keep doing JoJo, and we have this spin-off that we could do a 12-episode season of, and there you go.
I didn't even think about that, about this getting animated ever. That's actually kind of wild. Would you rather this or Purple Haze Feedback get animated?
This by far, because I like part 4 infinitely more than part 5.
That's fair. That's fair. I'd probably also want
Easily.
this just because
Purple
this has
Haze
a lot
would
more
be
visuals
literally
and
like
stuff.
Purple Haze would be like a good movie, I think, for them to do, because part 5's been like one of the most marketable ones.
That's true.
I think
that's true.
they should market a Purple Haze Feedback JoJo anime movie, and that I think that would do crazy. It would do like freaking maybe not as well as Superhero, but you could get it up there, I think.
Yeah, like recent
Dragon Ball Superhero for people that.
Yeah, I was about to say recent anime movies have been doing way better. Like
One Piece Red.
One Piece Red.
Really
Demon Slayer, Mugen Train, or whatever it's called. I think that's the name. They've all done very good. Anime over in the West has been exploding in the past like decade alone. So I definitely see the demand. I would love to see something JoJo in theaters. That would be crazy.
I know we had speculated when it was like only a tiny bit of part 6 had been animated for the first batch.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, oh, what if they matched it up and they had Made in Heaven be a movie, because it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
But they did not do that. But it looks great anyway, so.
Do you ever think like we could get a movie, or even like say this as a show, but like with the art style of the openings in 3D?
Oh, I would hope.
That would be cool. I would 3D anime is getting a like I think there's an obvious trend overall that anime is going to slowly start becoming way more 3D. It's already been happening. Mappa has been huge with 3D, and Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man majorly uses CG in fight scenes and the such. So I think that it's not an impossibility to start seeing like CG in JoJo even more recently, as we've been seeing a lot. Part 6 was there was an obvious uptick in CG usage. There was a lot of the Jumpin' Jack Flash. Yeah, Lang Wrangler was they added CG, which was because like I get it.
And you
like
can see that CG in our weather report character bio video.
Oh my god, plug iCard in the corner. Click on it. Whoa,
it's our worst performing video, guys. Come on.
Advertising. No, we have our Jesus video now. We'll see how that goes. Go watch the Jesus video. But after watching this one, keep watching this one. Don't leave.
Yes, and comment and subscribe and share with a million
like
of
the
your friends.
bill and everything, and then make a second account and then do all that again.
Yes.
But back to the chapter itself. So there's this part at the beginning where Dio is talking about like, oh, I've been asleep for quite some time. I don't actually know how people think anymore. So I'm gonna start torturing you or whatever. I think it's very fun to see how post part 6 we're able to, because we got a bit of this Dio in part 3. It was just like whenever Dio's not in a fight, he's much more calm and collected, and he's very philosophical, and that's way more elaborated on in part 6. But in part 3 itself, most of it is classic Dio screaming at people and being very eccentric. So I think it's fun to see how after written post part 6, this is kind of leaning into more of the character that was developed for Dio in part 6, rather than just keeping it like part 3, how everyone sees how the popular consensus of pop culture sees Dio.
Definitely. I mean, to be fair though, this is the kind of author and this is the kind of story so far that it wouldn't shock me if next chapter we see the freaking road roller.
That's true. If you didn't see, I have one. Pet Sounds user is like, you've backed me into a corner, but I have one last memory, and it goes like, Dio's like, roller dog.
Exactly.
And Josuke does the aura, but it's Dora.
Exactly.
That would kind of go hard, though. I'm not gonna lie. That would kind of, and then Boingo would be like, "Oh no, I can't do anything. I'm just gonna sit here." And then Boingo would stop time and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's the same type of stand as what is this? Is this Thoth? I can't remember. I think it's Thoth.
Yeah.
Thoth. It's the same type of stand as Thoth. Thoth, the world." That's how the next chapter should go.
And then Made in Heaven Requiem shows up.
Yes, Ultimate Made in Heaven Requiem from George Joestar.
All of our discussions devolve into.
Eventually, at the end, it's just we always have to go to
a Made in Heaven Requiem counter. Ding,
ding, ding it, ding. I'm not keeping track of that. Go someone. I'm not. If you think I'm actually gonna keep track of that, you're actually crazy.
So what do you think's gonna end up happening to Kakyoin's cousin?
I'm not entirely sure, but we got some sort of tease at the very end of this chapter, where we see we see like a memory version of Kakyoin's cousin. What is her name? Well, I feel like this is kind of important.
Ryoko.
That's hard for me to remember. I'll remember it eventually. I can figure that out. We get a little tease of her being under the influence of Pet Sounds. So I think we're going to see more Kakyoin memories. I think we already got a bit of that at the beginning, but I think we're going to return back to that, because I think what her character really is just the excuse for the author to reference Kakyoin more.
Yeah.
As we've said, very obvious part 3 pandering, which good. I'm glad. I enjoy part 3 quite a lot. So but I'm not sure what point. Okay, we've seen his encounter with Dio and everything. We've seen like there has to be some sort of like gap in time where we can see another Kakyoin memory fit in or something that we can have her like go through.
Or we can just see him die for the 18th time.
That's true. Well, actually, that's not. I forgot about the whole point of the story in the first place. Her character, she's trying to find out why Kakyoin died or whatever. So that's actually probably what's gonna happen soon, is that she's gonna see a memory of Kakyoin getting into the water tower. Yeah, the final into the water tower. That'll make sense. What if she gets hit into the tower through like the memories. Yeah. she gets and it recreates the panel, but it's with her instead of Kakyoin.
Exactly.
What is he cooking?
The story just evolves into like a part where Pet Sounds uses he uses his stand or whatever, and then it makes it so that Josuke just relives the entirety of part 3. So that the author can destroy part 3.
The next chapter is just how I think part 3 is like, it's like how many volumes? It's like 20 something volumes or whatever. You just have to go through 20 something volumes of Crazy Diamond, but instead every single character has like the eyes or whatever that's like edited, the eyes to have the memories. But it's the exact same thing. And it just happens. Kind of cool. Part 3 too. Like me when I see everything happen identically to how it happened in part 3. Yay! Woo! This is a much more fan servicey type story than anything. Even part 7 itself, which was literally just, hey guys, look at all the references to things I made before. Oh, this is Johnny Jooster, it's like Jonathan, and this is the spin, it's like Hamon, and this is literally the world, and he's the world from the part 3, and he stops time, and he throws knives, and he's Dio, and he goes
literally
muda muda.
The only thing that's more fan servicey, there's only 2 things more fan servicey, and that's Eyes of Heaven and George Joestar.
Yeah. George Joestar at least has like the same crackhead energy that JoJo has, where like I can hardly comprehend it.
Like original universe, you know?
Yeah, and then like every other chapter it switches back and forth or something. I've only looked into it. Someday I'll read Joestar.
We promise. We're committing 100% right now. We're gonna do a George Joestar.
Absolutely, that just kind of has to happen. But it's super long, man.
900 pages.
Oh my god. That's like, okay. But even then, with George, like, compared to... Eyes of Heaven is quite literally just replaying parts of the old story, and then you assemble the Joestars, and then you defeat Big Bad Dio over Heaven. But this story, which, for better or for worse, is literally just showing, hey, here's, you know part 3? Here's it again. Here you go. There it is.
One thing I'd like to see, and I mentioned this before, is that I want them to do a time skip so that the story can resume after part 4. It would just be more fun. You could have more of them, like members of the Morioh Crusaders.
I think it's a strange decision to put this story before part 4, because out of every single character who could ever have more story to it, it would be Josuke, because like Joseph is too old, Jotaro does too much, and then the end of part 6 happens, and who else do we have at that point? Giorno is busy doing his mafia stuff.
Whatever.
He's doing.
You mean he's going to Florida in part 6 so he can use.
Hey, he's going whatever. Giorno after part 5 is also too powerful. You can't write a compelling series after that. But Josuke after part 4 is completely free, and it still has the same exact ability, no changes. So you could have set this after part 4, and you would have been way more freed up to. Instead, Josuke has to kind of be restricted to the point he was before part 4.
Unless something about this recontextualizes part 4 at the end.
That's
or whatever.
probably what's gonna happen. Is we just
I would assume is that. You know how the Nijimura brother has the stand arrow because of his father or whatever? I assume it could connect where their father knew Pet Sounds is
That's true. That's probably
whatever.
What if Pet Sounds user is his dad?
Well, no, it couldn't be that because the dad didn't he transform immediately after
Oh, that's true. Never mind. Wait, no.
Yeah.
What did he?
The Flesh Bud, yes, he totally did.
Yeah, wait.
He completely does, yeah. And this takes place literally only like 2 months before part 3, so I don't know why they would.
That's true.
Their whole house would like get dilapidated and stuff, and yeah.
That makes sense. Ignore my crackhead theory.
You're rambling. No, but I do think the dad like knew the.
He's connected somehow.
Yeah.
I could
because I mean, like, what's the likelihood of 2 servants of Dio like directly being in the same town?
It's very low, but at the same time, stand users check over stand users.
Exactly.
So yeah, it totally is possible. What else was I gonna say? I don't remember. How does Keicho Nijimura, Okiyasu's older brother? People don't remember his name because he says it like once. Guy with bad company. How does he get the stand arrow? Do I remember? Was it just from his dad?
It's just from his dad
owned
yeah.
it. Okay.
I believe.
I don't remember. Is the problem? It's such a small part of part 4. Is like that beginning portion. So it's kind of. I'm not sure. I remember somewhere on like Reddit or something. There's like an image tracking the location of all the stand arrows throughout the JoJo timeline.
Yeah.
But I don't remember where that one starts. I believe he got it from his dad, and his dad probably got it from Dio.
But yeah, I think something's gonna recontextualize it to make it set before part 4, because besides that, it just seems like it would be easier to make it after.
Yeah, that makes sense. Having a time skip like happen to at the end of that, maybe after this fight or whatever. Ryoku or whatever gets the revelation about how Kakyoin died or whatever. Then we get a time skip for a while.
She can't ever know. She can't know because they say in the end of part 3, they say his family never found out.
I believe there's a word for this called a retcon. I believe.
No, I think they're gonna go. I think this person respects part 3, and they're gonna. This is like infamous last words.
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
I think they respect part 3, and they're not gonna directly retcon anything. I think it's gonna be a sad ending where she doesn't find out.
That's
maybe she needs a tiny bit more clarity, but she's not gonna know that he died like in like exact. I think they know he died in Egypt, but they won't know anything else besides that.
Something else. I know. I'm trying to remember. Oh my gosh. It's been so long since I've read the rest of Crazy Diamond.
Yeah.
What is Whole Horse doing here again? What's his goal here? Who's finding the bird? But like, was that it? Was it literally just he was
because he got hired to find the bird.
Oh, okay. He got hired to find the bird. Where is he right now? Because Josuke and Boingo are fighting the dude. I think he's just somewhere else. I think he got trapped somewhere from the stand.
Yeah, I think he had a previous fight, and so he's just kind of like separated right now. And we know Ryoko's with the Pet Sounds trainer or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going backwards through it. Yeah, the last time we see Whole Horse is he's looking at the memories of when he noticed Kakyoin died or whatever. Like he sees the aftermath of that happen with Kakyoin's body and like the clock tower's already destroyed and everything, and he's like looking on from like afar. And where is he? Like in the real world. Oh, he's just hiding. Okay. Yeah, he's not doing much. Okay. I think the Pet Sounds user has the book, has Thoth, I think. Yeah, that's where it last was. He got a hold of it, was the last thing.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's gonna happen next. He's gonna see what's gonna happen next in the book or whatever, and then that's gonna lead the story in whatever direction it's going. Which I'm not sure. I guess the story would just end with probably Pet Sounds guy dying, and then I'm just trying to. It feels like there needs
some memory thing, some recontextualization of part 4 is gonna happen.
Because there's no end game in sight besides like. But again, as you just said, she can't find out how Kakyoin dies.
All I'm saying is, what other part of JoJo was set in Morioh and didn't have a clearly defined villain?
It's gonna JoJo! Oh my gosh! I activate Pet Sound's secondary ability, Universe Swap. Oh, it's memories of a different Josuke. What? Why is he like killing people? Why is he like caving people's heads in? Yeah. Part 8 Josuke being so different from part 4 Josuke is kind of funny because Johnny is different from Jonathan, but I could still kind of see it.
Dude, part 4 and 8 Josuke are some of the like 2 most different on like the opposite ends, and they share the same name. It's
crazy. Crazy time. Oh my gosh! I'm so clever. Well, we're at the half-hour mark. I think we've covered everything we wanted to with this chapter.
This was a solid chapter. I just think.
I just want
to see more clearly defined villain. Like, I know we have a clearly defined villain, but like, in more of an end game, you know? Because I don't think
we have a clearly defined villain, but like emotional stakes, I feel like just don't really exist besides the like right now. Josuke's motivation is to not die, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he's just there. He's not really doing anything.
Because they have to keep his character stagnant till part 4.
They can't do anything. So it's so unless we get a time skip, it's gonna be a bit of a strange series. Still good, but like it could be better.
Kind of a bizarre series.
Kind of a bizarre adventure. Oh my gosh, is JoJo even in the title? No, it's just Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak, right?
I think it is. No, I think it is.
Let me check the cap. Oh wait, no, it is. It's there. Yeah, the logo's there. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak is the full name, which is a hell of a mouthful. I just usually call it Crazy Diamond. But
so since we really only have like 1 more month until JoJo Land start, I guess for people that are still watching, what we're gonna do is we're gonna prioritize JoJo Lands like way more. Like we're still gonna try to get both discussions for the chapters out,
obviously
on the weeks. But like the translators also are gonna be prioritizing JoJo Lands. I've seen at least, and based on the JoJolian ones, those came out literally within 3 days, and the Crazy Diamond ones have been taking like 14 days. So
Crazy Diamond's gonna be
Crazy
more
Diamond's
of a
pretty
second
much always
priority.
gonna be after after part 9.
Yeah.
Especially in February, part 9's gonna be basically our
we're gonna
our
have
channel that month.
like 5 videos that month on chapter 1 alone on various different things. We'll see how that goes.
Coordination theory, chapter 1.
No, stop. Aeon Star, if you're watching, famous JoJolian YouTuber who's uploaded like 5 times. Aeon Star. If you're watching this, you're cool, but stop being a crackhead and making the very odd predictions. You got my hopes up, damn it, for part 8, and look what happened. Anyways, JoJolian tangent aside,
things that make sense. We are not doing another JoJolian tangent.
I'm stopping it here. I'm stopping it here. Thank you everyone for watching. Comment,
subscribe the like button.
Comment, subscribe. Everything all the YouTubers say. 90% of you aren't subscribed. It's something. So you guys,
it's actually 100%.
100. That might be true. Actually,
100% of you aren't subscribed, so all subscribe.
Everyone subscribe right now. Thank you guys for watching. This is JoJo Overdrive signing off.
Watch where you're going, hold and drive. Let the downside up to top notch, whatever haters do.